Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. And thank you, Secretary Kerry. We miss your representing us in the United States Senate, but appreciate so much your shouldering these new responsibilities. And I thank you all for being here as we engage in this very important debate. I know it's been an issue as to whether or not it was a way forward, but nevertheless, I think as you've seen, the tremendous interest that we all bring to this, and appropriately so. We have fast-moving events. I appreciate, Secretary, the sort of back-channel efforts to find a different way, and I appreciate very much also our President's openness to pursuing that different way. But in the meantime, we're really here to discuss the merits of a military option. And as I've heard you all say in many other briefings, the goal is to deter President Assad's future use of chemical weapons and degrade his capacity to use them. You're explaining an effort that will be limited in duration, limited in scope, and not open-ended. But that's not the concern so many of us have, that there's an inevitability to this that will take us much further down the road than any of us wants. So the question I have is that given the many sites that are scattered across the country of Syria, the many chemical weapon sites, and the fact that many of the sites are located in population centers, it's clear that chemical weapons will remain in Syria, despite whatever we may do militarily. And also, given our limited objectives, we do not seek regime change. President Assad will remain in power. So he will still have chemical weapons, and he has demonstrated a willingness to use them, whether it's as a tactical weapon, one of the many tools in the toolbox that he has when he's cornered and he sees no other way out. That's what led us to the August 21st event. So let's just assume, not in the immediate aftermath, but 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, President Assad chooses to use chemical warfare, whether in a small event or a large event. But as a result of military action and the red line that our President has drawn, we have said we will respond to that and we will respond to it militarily. What will we do in the event President Assad uses chemical weapons, still in power, for whatever reasons, either as a tool in the toolbox or to show he's still in charge, that he doesn't take the international community or our efforts seriously? What will we do? I think I'd start with you, General Dempsey.
Well, I can't speak for our elected officials on what their guidance to me would be, but I can tell you that we have prepared subsequent target packets for exactly that contingency. So we will be prepared, if necessary, to act again.
Would that necessitate your coming back to us? Let's say the authorization for use of military force is 60 days.
It depends on the resolution. Depends on how the resolution.
If there's a time limited and this is outside that time limit, would you come back to us?
We'd have to come back to you, but it would depend on whether or not you put a trigger in a resolution that covered that contingency.
But do you think it would be appropriate to take military action should he use them again, given the red line we have drawn?
This is intended not to destroy his entire capacity or the country or to engage in the regime change. It's intended to send the message to him that more can happen to him. If he makes the ill-advised decision to do it in the future, we would indeed believe that we would need to make it clear to him that you need to do more. That's evident, and the targeting is such that that would need to happen. Now, personally, I don't believe that will happen. I think the message will be clear. I think it will send him a chilling message, notwithstanding that it's targeted and limited. And that's why I think he and the Russians are responding the way that they are. But I disagree with you about this inevitability, the sort of fear of inevitability. It's going to drag us into something down the road. I worry much more that not doing something now creates an inevitability that's going to drag you into something more complicated and more urgent and more dangerous. And I think that's what people have to think about.
Can I give Secretary Hagel a chance, too, to comment what your thoughts might be?
Well, I would agree with what Secretary Kerry said and General Dempsey. The President would always have the option and has been very clear on what he said about, as you note, violating a norm our policy on this issue, starting with the fact the President has come to the Congress for this resolution on this authorization. And he has the option to do more, and he should.
The gentlelady's time has
If he needs
expired. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Lamborn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.